One of the most popular characters in video games, Kratos, almost looked very different according to Charlie Wen, former director of visual development at Sony Santa Monica. How different?
So we went through so many different things. I mean, even I tried him as a Kratos as a female, went through all that.
Well, it's hard to imagine a video game landscape without Kratos now. Over a decade after his debut in the first God of War game for the PlayStation 2, it took a while for Wen to figure out just how the pale, tattooed Spartan should actually look. All told, Wen said that the process of coming up with Kratos' design took roughly a year and a half from the character's initial conception to his final design. But creativity is a funny thing, and you can't always control when it hits. Case in point, the version of Kratos that we know and love came into the world in a most unexpected place. He appeared suddenly and without warning near some greasy meats and fries. Here's the story of how Charlie Wen designed the Ghost of Sparta. Years ago, it was thought that all video game consoles needed to have cartoony mascots to draw in kids and parents. As such, the PlayStation's take on Sonic and Mario came in the form of Crash Bandicoot, a 3D platformer developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony itself. But with the PlayStation 2 era and the industry's realization that gamers were growing up with the hobby rather than aging out of it, Sony needed to find a way to mature their mascot along with their audience. That's where Charlie Wen came in.
We were trying to come up with a new icon for Sony. I was brought in to concept what it could feel like and look like.
David Jaffe, who had formerly found success as a director of the PlayStation's Twisted Metal series, was the director and lead designer on the Sony Santa Monica game project that would eventually become God of War. According to Wen, Jaffe's idea was inspired by the films of Ray Harryhausen, the legendary stop-motion animator whose work turned B-movies like Jason and the Argonauts and Clash of the Titans into cinematic classics. And considering how many skeleton fights occur throughout the God of War series, Jaffe definitely got what he wanted. Some of the changes the original God of War went through included different names for both the game and its lead character. Instead of Kratos starring in God of War, we could have had Dominus starring in Dark Odyssey. And while Ray Harryhausen's films were the original inspiration for the game, that wasn't the only movie that provided a jumping-off point for the new game project. According to Wen, he was heavily influenced by the Russell Crowe starring Sword and Sandals historical epic Gladiator.
Such an epic film, right? I remember just having that score being played through my background. Because of that too, we kept trying to push that historical aspect of it.
Rather than strict historical accuracy, what was most important to the design team during this time were the feelings they were looking to capture, and going so hard on the historical angle was actually beginning to hurt the design process.
We went through the whole sword and shield and what a Spartan would actually be like. There was something not there. It was very historical, but that's not what we were going for. There was a lot of freedom in coming up with Kratos in that I knew with Dave, he kept just saying it needs to evoke a certain kind of emotion.
Obviously, once gamers got their hands on the final product, there was no shortage of emotion. Grief over the loss of the lead character's family, and rage at the gods that leads to the action that unfolds. Wen recalled having plenty of leeway in exploring what kind of character Dominus might be. For instance, Wen was influenced by the Lone Wolf and Cub manga series from the 1970s, which sees a samurai traveling with his infant son through feudal Japan, slaying bad guys together. Because of the strong presence of family in Dominus' backstory, Wen saw an interesting gameplay opportunity with a similar dynamic.
I remember, Dominus should have, maybe we could have it so that has his cub, actual puppy, behind him.
Funnily enough, before Wen decided on a puppy as Dominus' adventuring companion, he experimented with a character not unlike Atreus, the son who would eventually accompany Kratos in the 2018 God of War game for the PlayStation 4.
At first I was trying an actual kid, but I was like, it's gonna be kind of hard. I don't want people thinking that you're killing a little kid that's behind you if you get him killed. So I was like, no, I don't want to be responsible for that. Let's try a puppy. I was thinking like the puppy can turn into a giant Cerberus that can help you, like three-headed Cerberus if you treat it well. You can have a sort of a nice dynamic between you and that puppy.
While the player's puppy pal never made it to the final version of the game, the Cerberus did, although as a pesky enemy type across several games in the franchise. Sometimes inspiration strikes quickly, and sometimes it never strikes at all, and sometimes it strikes when you least expect it, like when you're getting a bite to eat. That's exactly what happened to Charlie Wen while he was literally out to lunch.
Eventually, after so many months of just testing things out, I think I was at like Carl's Jr. or something like that, and there's some napkins there, and I was just like, you know what, I think I know who he is.
Fortunately, he had a brush pen with him. He grabbed a napkin and set to work on the idea that suddenly flashed into his mind. What we got is more or less the Kratos we know today, along with a very iconic part of his character that stuck with him through every appearance throughout the God of War franchise, the Blades of Chaos.
That's the first time that I put him with the double swinging blades and everything, and so that's how he came about.
Just imagine, what if Wen had wound up someplace else, like Ruby Tuesdays? Really, any place that had cloth napkins could have inadvertently created an alternate universe where Kratos never got the Blades of Chaos at all, and that's a universe we wouldn't ever want to visit. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SVG videos about your favorite video games are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.